The theme this year at DMS 16 is called Scape of Cards, and it's our play on House of Cards, obviously, for two reasons. One is it's an election year, so that seemed fitting. And second, we think the whole sort of Scape of Cards, the notion that addresses some of the issues that we have in digital advertising and the fragility of the ecosystem may in fact be a House of Cards. And so we addressed, and it was in a publication that we made public 2 days ago, also entitled Scape of Cards, a digital brief, where we talked about all the issues that this sector is currently facing. And we enumerated 10 of them, and then we addressed the really more important ones like fraud, viewability, and ad blocking for three that are, we call critical issues to making sure we've got a digital supply chain that's working. And then two existential issues that we think are really life-threatening for these companies. And one is the sort of walled garden / digital duopoly, and second is fragmentation of the ecosystem. So on the walled garden front, it's pretty incredible when you look at the actual numbers. Google and Facebook are garnering in excess of 85% of all new ad dollars coming into the market. So that means that the 35 or 3,700 companies across all the other Lumascapes are just vying for 15% of the increase. It's a pretty daunting stat. So yeah, I would suggest that our message this morning, as supported by Scott Galloway and his talk about the Gang of Four and the strength of Amazon, Facebook, Google, and Apple, really tell a story about real challenges, real headwinds out there, and I would describe it as an inconvenient truth.
So is it sort of like the consolidation of the automobile industry, or is it different? Or
Sure, look, this is not new to this industry. We've seen this in many industries where the early days are filled with innovation and fragmentation, right? Where lots of companies get started, and then eventually what naturally happens is consolidation from a large number down to a few. We saw it in automobiles, we saw it in software, we see it in so many industries. We saw it in the ad agency world, we saw it in the media world, and we will absolutely see it in digital media, both on the publishing side as well as on the technology side. It'll be interesting to see what the mood will be like at Cannes this year. I mean, for the last several years, the sort of importance of data-driven creativity and data-driven strategies that marketers employ has become a bigger and bigger issue. This year, Oracle Marketing Cloud is going to have a huge presence in Cannes. That you would not have seen several years ago. So that will increase. We do have an environment that's hit some headwinds. I mean, advertising's still growing, but for these growth companies, it's getting harder and harder to get venture financing, especially if they don't have scale or differentiation. But I think the more important ones, the ones that we're sort of deal with as our clients, are the scaled and differentiated companies. And for them, we've continued to see fantastic exits at great prices. So it really is a bit of a tale of two cities. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in terms of the mood at Cannes. Programmatic, that is to say, let's level set here. Programmatic is the use of data and technology, software, to optimize, media buying. Has grown really incredibly fast, almost exponentially. It's now a majority of digital ad spend, and it will probably increase. And every year they have to change the hockey stick projections to make it even greater. In 2010, there was virtually no programmatic. We sold Invite Media to Google, and then they bought AdMel, and the rest is history. That really was the catalyst that kicked off the whole growth of that sector. And we're likely to see it, continue unabated. People are not that interested in the display story any longer. I think there's, ad fatigue and the questionability of the performance of some of the ad units. And yes, there has been sort of, mobile's always been important, figuring out, how to message to folks when they spend so much time on their mobile phone. But in terms of ad formats, native is here to stay, and video is very much the sort of high-yielding CPM ad format of choice that it turns out consumers also like. It's really important to find that intersection of ad formats that work for marketers, but also are sort of a delight, or at least not pissing off consumers in terms of their experience with the ads. We heard Scott Galloway say it this morning. Advertising sucks. And so native and video are an opportunity to make advertising suck less.